Daniel Sports Central will be giving you guys my Week 6 college football playoff predictions for the 2022 season. And with the first week of October in the books, we head fully into conference play. And so that said, I'll be giving you guys my updated college football playoff predictions here today. And these are as we head into Week 6. So that said, let's go ahead and get into it with our Week 6 CFP predictions, starting out at number 1. And it's going to be the same that it was last week, and that's Alabama. The Crimson Tide, 5-0, top-ranked team in the nation right now. And there's reason to see why. This is a dominant Alabama team, and they got tremendous talent on both sides of the ball. Of course, Bryce Young, who is one of, if not the best quarterback in the nation this season. Obviously, he got injured last week, but it seems like it's not a serious injury, so it's going to be good for Alabama to have him back, obviously. But the Crimson Tide, overall, a very complete team, and they've proven that so far this season. And so I got the Crimson Tide at number 1 for this week as the SEC champion. I do think the SEC champion, when all is said and done, unless chaos ensues in the SEC, your SEC champion is more than likely going to be number 1. And in this case, I'm going to go with Alabama to be number 1. Number 2 is going to be Ohio State, the Big Ten champion. I think Ohio State is also a very complete team. This is a team with, obviously, C.J. Stroud, who is an outstanding quarterback. And Ohio State, quite honestly, I feel it could very well be the best team in the country right now. I actually have Ohio State ranked as number 1 in the country as of Week 6. Yes, above Alabama and above Georgia. Just the way Ohio State's been playing, they are a very dominant team. So far this season, they've been extremely impressive. They've been dominant in 4 of their 5 wins, and of course, they beat Notre Dame 21-10, which was still a solid win for the Buckeyes. So, Ohio State is definitely a team to really keep an eye on. They are extremely talented as well. I'm going to have them at number 2 this week in my college football playoff predictions, once again, as the Big Ten champion. Number 3 is going to be Georgia. This is also the same as last week, so nothing too terribly or nothing too significant has changed in our top 3. But of course, that obviously could change as upsets ensue in the next few weeks. But Georgia is number 3. The Bulldogs I've got as the SEC runner-up, losing to Alabama in the national title. And that could place Georgia at number 4 potentially. We could see a rematch of Alabama and Georgia in the college football playoff. But I do think the way things look right now, with Georgia being as good of a team as they are, the past couple of weeks, though, I will say, Georgia does not look good. They had a close call against Missouri last week. They played a closer game than it should have been against Kent State the week before. So, Georgia's got a lot to prove. And they still have things to prove moving forward into middle October. But, Bulldogs, I do think, are a team that will get it figured out. They got the talent to do so, and they'll be number 3 in my CFP predictions this week. Now, for 4, 3, 6, and honestly 4 on downward, it can be anybody, quite honestly. And for number 4 this week, I'm going with Clemson, the Tigers. I do think Clemson, after beating NC State, they're in a good position. That was a good win there for Clemson. NC State is a good football team, and Clemson got a quality win there. And the Tigers at 5-0. The schedule moving forward, they got Boston College, Florida State the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, they play Syracuse, who is potentially a sneaky team. They're undefeated right now and ranked. But otherwise, they don't play a ranked opponent other than Syracuse here on out. They got South Carolina down the road. They got Miami down the road, Notre Dame on the road as well in early November. So we'll see Clemson play a couple of decent teams. Things are setting up well for Clemson now after that win against NC State to definitely make a run for the college football playoff. And for all we know, we could definitely see once again a huge matchup between Alabama and Clemson in the college football playoff. So that's my top 4. No big surprise team in the top 4 this week. But number 5 is going to be Utah, which is a team that I feel like a lot of analysts, a lot of people are still underestimating. That's a team that does have a loss on the season. They lost to Florida in week 1, but they're still extremely talented. And they got chances to prove themselves moving forward. They got USC in a couple of weeks, which is a huge game, by the way. In the Pac-12 and determining who, for one, gets to the championship, and also who can still make a run for the college football playoff. That's going to be a huge game there. But of course, Utah still has to take care of UCLA this upcoming weekend, and I do think that Utah wins that game, so I'm not too worried. And I've got Utah as the eventual Pac-12 champion, and pretty much a tie between Clemson and Utah for that number 4 position. Potentially Utah takes another close loss. They still win the Pac-12. We could see them at number 5 as well. But for number 6, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State here. The Cowboys I've got as the Big 12 champion right now. And the Big 12, the Big 12 has actually got a lot of good teams this season, but the problem is the Big 12 doesn't have a big standout. There hasn't been a major standout that has emerged in the past few weeks. I mean, you got Kansas and TCU who are still undefeated, but and we'll see how they both fare out between TCU and Kansas. But the Big 12 has got several good teams. They just don't have any major standouts quite yet. That could change as the weeks go on, and we'll adjust the predictions accordingly. But as of right now, Oklahoma State I've got as the Big 12 champion. No major surprise there. But there's your 1 through 6 as we head into week 6. No major surprises this week. You got Alabama and Ohio State, Georgia in the top 3, and then Clemson at number 4. But Utah obviously is very close to being in that position as well. But looking at your 7 through 11, these are your first 5 out of the top 6. I got Michigan at number 7 as the second place team in the Big 10 East, losing to Ohio State eventually, but still a one-loss team. You got Oregon at number 8. I'd say they are going to be the Pac-12 runner-up right now. USC, I got at number 9, mainly because I do think they finish out the season strong, but they lose to Utah, which the Utes eventually go on to win the Pac-12. Tennessee at number 10. The Vols, also a team to keep an eye on. They didn't play last week, but Tennessee is a team to really keep watching. And then I got Kansas at number 11, which is wild to me that I'm even considering putting Kansas in the top 10. But Jayhawks are a for-real team, and that's a team that if they can make a run, we could see – I don't know if we'll see the Jayhawks. I think this Kansas team does lose a couple of games down the stretch. They just have a tough enough schedule to the point where it's like, yeah, they'll probably lose 1 or 2 games, you would assume at least. For all we know, who knows. But, the Jayhawks I do have at number 11 as the Big 12 runner-up as of right now. And once again, the Big 12 is wide open. There are 8 teams out of the 10 that I could see winning that conference right now. And, Kansas they're one of them. And so I got Kansas towards the top right now. But once again, we'll see how that ages as the weeks go by. But that said, that's going to wrap it up for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on these predictions, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.